is tough to keep your concentration there, but even, well, equally as good as the catch was how they picked up the safety blitz. Howard Fields coming. Brian Illebrandt not only brought defensive end Rommel Andrews, he also took off Howard Fields and gave Roy DeWalt the time to throw that touchdown pass.
As Louis prepares for the automatic point after, let me just go through the experience on the offensive line. Alan Wilson, 15 years. Glenn Leonard, 10. Gerald Roper, 5. John Blaine, 10. Brian Illebrandt, 9. I mean, there's experience all over the field on both sides of the ball, and that's why the BC Lions not only lead this football game 14-0, but obviously are the team to beat in the Western Conference, even though with a win tonight, they would only climb into a tie with the Edmonton Eskimos, who remain the only undefeated team in Canada. But Donnie Matthews, his crystal ball was right, as he told me before the ball game. I think we're getting ready to hammer somebody, and it looks like tonight could be the night.
Well, there's Glenn Jackson, number 37. 11 years from Simon Fraser. You know, you figure a guy that's been around for maybe 11 years might slow down a little bit. He played the best football of his career last year, and, of course, this year playing equally as well.
He may be my favorite football player in the entire CFL for the very reason that you pointed out. The guy loves the game. He reminds me of Jan Carinci. Jan is a younger guy, mind you, but Jackson just loves playing football.
Boy, speaking of Jan Carinci, when I was still playing when he was a rookie, and the first time I saw him, he hit everybody that moved. You could tell he was going to be a player.
Tony Champion with the kickoff from his 20-yard line. Well, this guy has speed, but unfortunately did not get an opportunity to show it because he was hemmed in on the sideline and finally forced out by Bruce Barnett. Let me tell you about the BC Lions offense. 102 yards so far, just 14 for Hamilton, 8 first downs for BC, none for the Ticats. 3:37 left to play in the opening quarter. Lions lead it 14-0. Mark Napierkowski, number 79, is the injured Ticat.
A former BC Lion, his first chance to play against his old teammates. The buzzard, Ray Jones, out there, and Jeff Auda lend a little assistant. One of the best in the business, Ray Jones.
Talking to Ray when I was driving in here tonight, I said to him, boy, I feel sorry for the club. They cannot get a break in the weather. Every time they play, it rains. And he says, who are you talking about? I said, the Hamilton Ticats. He said, oh, yeah, that's right. I work for them.
Yeah.
The old buzzard, a good fella. And, of course, kept you in fine fettle for many years.
Yeah, he did. You know, the trainer's got to be a different kind of guy because he's the buffer sometimes between the players and the coaching staff, and he's got to listen to everybody's sob story, and Ray does it with a great deal of charm.
First down, Hamilton from their 34-yard line. Down goes Hobart right at the line of scrimmage. Kevin Konar, number 31. He's from the University of British Columbia. He's having another good year, and he's had a number of them in his 7-year career.
Well, there's Steve Barato, the ex-head coach of the Calgary Stampeders, now back with the BC Lions, working with the offensive backs and receivers. Looked like he was talking to John, showing him something. John did a pretty good job on that last drive.
Hobart has been good on 2 of 5 passes for 13 yards. Swings it out to Walter Bender. And Bender tried to do it on his own because there was nobody out there blocking for him. And on a swing pass on 2nd and 9, it'd be nice to have somebody out there with him. He gets to the 40-yard line, but he'll be 4 yards short as Nelson Martin, along with Tyrone Cruz, was there to bring him down.
Darnell Clash on your screen right there. Coming into this game, only 232 yards away from becoming the all-time BC Lion punt returner, and he's going to surpass some pretty good guys. Larry Crawford, who's playing tonight, people forget he was an excellent punt returner. He's going to go past Leon Bright, Rocky Long. Those were some great ones from the past.
You have named some of the all-time great punt returners as Clash takes it at his 23. A couple of little stutter steps, and he still manages to pick up yards over the 30 to the 31-yard line. And so with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, Roy DeWalt comes out. DeWalt has gone over the 16,000-yard mark now in his career with the BC Lions, and sometime this year he will pass Joe Kapp as the all-time BC Lions passing leader.
Yeah, coming into this game, he was only 687 yards behind Joe Cap, so he's taken 100.5 off that so far, at least.
Who was he drilled? That's a free ball, too. Ticats have recovered inside the 10-yard line. They rule the Lions have it.
Well, let's have a look. Greg Gary comes from the backside, number 41, and the ball comes loose. It appears as though number 61, Mike Walker's got a great shot. Let's see what happens at the end. I thought he recovered the fumble.
I think he rolled over and the ball did come loose.
Well, it was John Henry White then that probably grabbed it for the BC Lions and saved them. That's a tough break.
Fans aren't too happy with that one. But they should be happy that it's second down and loads. They've got to get to the 41-yard line for the first down. The Walt plays it safe, fires it to Pancratz, and Pancratz gets out to the 17-yard line, which will give Passaglia a little better room to punt. But it will force a third down and long for BC.
Well, what a big turn of events that was. Hamilton really, offensively and team-wise, needed some kind of a break, but just couldn't come up with it.
By the way, gentlemen, the most surprised person in this ballpark on the last scoring play was the receiver, John Pancratz. As he was running through the end zone, he was convinced the ball was going to hit the goalpost, and so when it hit his hands, he was a little surprised.
He did a good job. Louis Passaglia stands inside his 5-yard line. This is an end-over-end kick. Bennett moves up on it. Picks it up at the 53-yard line. He was looking for a no-yards flag. None came down. But Bennett has given Hamilton their best field position of the evening. The ball at the BC 46-yard line, and the Ticats need some kind of a drive. They have had zero offense to this point, and we have but 31 seconds left in this opening quarter that Al Bruno cannot be too happy about.
Good job, Dee.
Well, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said they win with defense, and Al Bruno, you know, he's going to have to live and die with Ken Hobart because he really has not been able to generate much.
That ball was deflected by Kevin Konar. They were trying to set up the screen pass, but Konar just got the big mitt up in the air.
Well, we're talking one tough defense, you know. Probably the most inconspicuous guy on that defense is number 31, Kevin Konar, but already he's made a couple of big plays in this first quarter.
But, you know, fans of the CFL across Canada know every one of these guys' names. You know, on most teams, people can't name the quarterback, let alone the defense.
For our job, they're the easiest team to do.
Hobart looks, fires, complete to Wayne Lee inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. He's brought down by Nelson Martin. As the first quarter comes to an end, the Ticats look to be coming alive, but they've got an uphill struggle. They trail the BC Lions 14-0. We'll return with the second quarter in a moment. Hobart certainly set it up nicely for the Hamilton Ticats. His pass completion to Wayne Lee gives them possession at the BC 33-yard line as we begin play here in the second quarter. Hobart going deep. Oh, and off the hands of Steve Stapler. He should have made the catch.
Yeah, he should have, Pat.
He was in behind Keith Gooch. The ball was there, and it certainly hit him in the spot where it's expected to be.
You know, it's tough, especially when your quarterback's struggling. You've got to make the big play for him. There he accelerated, got in behind Keith Gooch, but couldn't hang on. Ooh, that's a heartbreaker.
So it's a second down, 10 yards to go situation for the Ticats at the BC 33-yard line. They threw the center screen to Walter Bender, but he was zapped immediately. Tyrone Cruz, the middle linebacker. You're not going to fool him too often. And Parker was in there as well. There's a look at what happened in the first 15 minutes of play. I'm surprised that the net yards are only 79-34 when you consider that there were 8 first downs against only 1 for the Ticats. But, of course, if you take into consideration that 22-yard loss by the Hamilton Ticats, that certainly cuts down on their offensive performance. Ruoff's field goal try from 40 yards out is good. The Ticats have hit the scoreboard. With just 56 seconds played here in the second quarter, Hamilton is back in the ball game, but they still trail by 11, 14-3. We'll be back in a moment. Well, it was really important that the Ticats get something out of that drive, and they did. They picked up the 3 points. Ben Zambiase looks on. He's no longer in the cookie business, is he?
I don't think so. I
think he sold out to Gourmazing Cookies because they sent us some up here before the game. Anyway, this is Kevan Jenkins from the 19-yard line. It looked like it was going to open wide open for him, and then all of a sudden, Mark Streeter was there to close it up, but it looked like a gaping seam for him to go all the way. 26 yards, the return by Kevan Jenkins from the University of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey, try D. Good job. Nice return. Good job, man.
From the 47-yard line is where Roy DeWalt, who has been good on 5 of 7 passes for 86 yards, will begin. This is Jenkins. He bounces off Grover Covington, but then he has nowhere to go because he runs right into the arms of Les Brown, and he'll pick up a loss of about 5 yards. But it was Grover Covington who actually made the play. Then Ben Zambiase made sure that he wasn't going to go forward either.
And what a great matchup that was, too. 68 John Blaine, an All-Canadian. Grover Covington, 77, an All-Canadian. And Big Grover won that battle and stopped Kevan Jenkins in the backfield. Well, he didn't make the play, but he sure did most of the work.
So let's make it 2nd and 15 Lions. Ball is at their 42-yard line. On the draw, this is Jenkins. Incidentally, in the ball game is Tim Cowan. Cowan at quarterback. Hands it off to Jenkins, but he couldn't get by Calvin Adams and Greg Gary. And now we've got to get Dan Matheson on his horse down there to find out what has happened to Roy DeWalt.
Pat, Roy DeWalt is having his left knee looked at. Now, he doesn't appear to be any pain, but the trainers are applying pressure to different parts of the knee, and maybe it's just a little bit sore at the moment.
I tell you what, Dan, it's really not a detriment to have Tim Cowan in the ballgame. Last year, here in Ivor Wynne Stadium, he replaced an injured Roy DeWalt, went 25 for 36, 387 yards, 5 TD passes, so I don't think you hurt too much when he's in the ballgame.
It may have been the outstanding performance of the year at quarterback. Was certainly the best one I saw all season. Louis Pasaglia's punt will be handled by Wayne Lee, who bobbles the ball momentarily, and then is dropped in his tracks because down very quickly was Bruce Barnett. Well, there's a look at Roy DeWalt.
And he doesn't look too happy.
No, although he doesn't look like they're going to have to cart him off to the hospital within the next few minutes either. From the University of Texas at Arlington, and Roy has got to be a little disappointed this year. His former alma mater dropped football. However, the Hamilton Ticats are fairly pleased at their performance the last time they had the football. They begin from their 24-yard line right now, and they'd like to put another drive together. Let's see if they can. This is Walter Bender. Bender runs into Kevin Conard, and he's dropped at the 25-yard line, so let's credit them with a pickup of a yard. Glenn Jackson came over to help out as well. Now we're only in the BC Lions' 5th game of the season. Glenn Jackson already had 14 tackles, 2 sacks coming into the ball game. So he's up to his usual standard, which should mean that he'll be an all-star again. It's 2nd down, and let's make it a full 10 yards to go. Hobart fires down the middle. It was very nearly picked off by Larry Crawford. And I think it's only a matter of time before Crawford gets his hands on one of those Hobart passes.
You know, Larry Crawford's been around for a long time. He needs only 2 more interceptions to tie Norm Fieldgate for the all-time BC Lion interception lead.
This is such a big game. We brought everybody in for this one. We've got Frank Rigney in from Vancouver, who just did a little extra scouting for us and pointed out that Larry Crawford has a bad thumb. and is wearing that protection on that hand.
Frank Rigney, of course, in Toronto to cover the Du Maurier Ladies Professional Golf Tournament at the Board of Trade, which you'll see on CTV both Saturday and Sunday.
Here's Darnell Clash, one of his favorites. Well, I mean, is he not an exciting little guy? Darnell Clash is all the way down to the Hamilton 25-yard line. A 42-yard punt, a 42-yard return.
Well, watch how he sets the blockers. He gives up a little ground to set everything up, get some good blocking to get that picket fence down the sideline, and he doesn't stop.
Just a brilliant run. 14-3, the Lions lead it. We'll be back with their first down in a moment. Well, let's say hello to Local 97, who feel that the Lions and CTV are right up there on top, and I couldn't agree with them more. Roy DeWalt has a hyperextended knee. They'll check it at halftime. John Henry White is wrapped up by Rod Skillman, number 59, just as he got to the line of scrimmage.
You know, one nice thing about the Ticats that they've been able to establish over the past couple of seasons is really some depth on their reserve list. A guy like Mitchell Price out of the lineup tonight due to injury. 59, Rod Skillman. He's been around for 4 years, 3 years as a Ticat. He's able to fill in and help them last year get to the Grey Cup.
Well, I mean, if they can't learn from looking at BC, Winnipeg, and Edmonton, I mean, with the stability of those rosters.
Well, they have, though, and that's the impressive part about it.
Cowan dances around and dances right into Grover Covington's arms for a loss back to the 35-yard line. Let's give that Hamilton defense a little credit. Boy, they are playing their usual game.
Well, they know the pressure's on them pretty near every time that they play to keep the offense and everybody alive in there. Grover Covington, his second sack in this first half of football, and a good job by the defense after that big punt return by Darnell Clash.
So Louis Pasaglia, out of the hold of John Pankratz, will try a 39-yard field goal attempt. And it is good. And I don't imagine too many are surprised at that, considering that Louis has been so consistent over the years. He was injured, of course, earlier this season, but he has obviously come back and shown to everyone who's interested that he's the Louis Pasaglia of old. Well, as soon as we finish this ball game, Leaf and I are going to go home and grab a little shut-eye and then grab the big bird tomorrow and go out and watch the Toronto Argonauts play at Taylor Field in Regina. That'll come to you at 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, and it should be a good one because these two clubs were as close as you can hope for last week at CNE Stadium, although offensively they both were something less than sensational.
For those of you not familiar with the Toronto scene right now, Conridge Holloway, from all reports, will start that football game, so nice to see Connie back in the lineup.
And Chris Woods will be back in the lineup as well. Boy, there's a guy who can really excite you, and if Conridge can play that ball game and play to his capability, and if Chris Woods is healthy, it is really going to be a big boost for the Argonauts. And if you're in Regina, make sure you get a ticket for that one, because those Jolly Green Giants are going to want to knock some heads, and they will do that against Toronto tomorrow night. This is Howard Fields, and Fields dances his way out over the 40 to the 43-yard line. It's a 17-3 score here at Ivor Wynne Stadium. Boy, it is so hot you can barely breathe. The humidity has to be at 100%. It did not rain in Hamilton, apparently, but it poured in parts of Toronto today. So the Ticats begin from their 43-yard line. Ken Hobart has got to establish some kind of a passing game, or this one is out of reach for the Ticats. Hobart fires behind Steve Staples.
I think that was tipped by big number 77, Michael Gray. All 6'4" of them, I believe, got the hands up.
Gentlemen, a couple of notes about Hobart. He misses some passes, granted. He's also had quite a few drop this year, and his teammates say he's such an intense guy that every time he misses or somebody drops one, he gets down on himself, and his game starts to deteriorate. What they want is for him to level off emotionally.
Well, this one he fires deep for Stapler. And he couldn't get to it. Nelson Martin was closest man to the ball. Well, Dan, that is not a particularly great characteristic to have in your quarterback because he's got to be able to shake that stuff off.
I couldn't agree with that assessment more. Steve Stapler, well, he's got lots of speed. We know that. The best pattern he runs is this one, the straight streak pattern down the sidelines. But Kenny Hobart on the run just couldn't get enough mustard on the football, and not a chance to catch that one.
So Bernie Ruoff stands inside his 30-yard line.
Bernie only 41.6 this year, really has struggled.
Class takes it at the 22. There is a penalty marker down. I could watch this guy return punts all night long. He gets out to the 40-yard line, but there is a marker down. Holding the call against the BC Lions. 46 yards, the boot by Bernie Ruoff. 19 the return by Darnell Platt. Obviously, the holding must have taken place on the return because BC is going to retain possession of the football, but the penalty is marked off back to their 11-yard line.
Holding, BC number 34. First down.
That's Scott Leckie, the rookie from Guelph University, who has had such a really good start with the Lions, has impressed the coaching staff. The fans have certainly gotten to like him, and he looks like he's got a brilliant future in the CFL. Not if he keeps holding, though. This is Kevan Jenkins. The Lions can hurt you so many ways. Jenkins is out to the 15, 16-yard line, a pickup of close to 5. Calvin Adams, number 5. Mike Walker, 61. We're in on the play to bring him down after that 5-yard advance. Donnie Matthews first, now Al Bruno. You wouldn't know which one was leading because Matthews seldom changes expression, nor does Bruno.
Must be a code among your head coaches there. They must write each other a letter and say, listen, we're not going to smile this year.
Well, they threw the penalty marker. There was no contact made at the line of scrimmage. The flag actually should have been picked up, but it wasn't, and consequently, they're either going to rule no foul and we'll replay the down, is what I think they should do, or they may penalize BC. Yeah, what is this?
Sore wrist.
There's no foul on the play. Second down.
That's exactly what should be the foul. I may go into officiating.
You're in mid-season form tonight. Wow.
So it is second down. 5 yards to go for the Lions. Tim Cowan is at quarterback in place of the injured Roy DeWalt. Fans are not happy. Cowan fires into the middle, and there he is, Ned Armour. Watch this guy fly. Ned Armour is out over the 45 to the 47-yard line. Mark Streeter finally angled him out of bounds. But Ned Armour turns people inside out every which way. Coming into the ball game, he had 21 receptions. Tonight he has 2 more, and this one good for a total of 31 yards.
And what Tim Cowan does so well is keep his feet moving. He didn't stay stationary, kept moving, and finally DeWalt broke open over the middle, and boy, can he run with that football when he gets it.
17-3, Lions lead it with 7:35 left to play in the first half. BC on the move again, this time from their 47-yard line. Cowan's pass. Sandusky could not hang on, and that's unusual for him because the little guy started last week against Montreal, picked up 8 receptions, and of course we all know what he can do. When we saw him last season, he came on and played so well, got his chance when Mervyn Fernandez was injured.
Well, he's actually played 2 games this year for the BC Lions. Here in Hamilton last year, he had 5 catches for 112 yards, so this is a favorite park for him to play in.
This is Sandusky. A flag is down. He got caught up in a traffic jam as he got to the 30-yard line. Well, let's wait and see what the penalty marker is about.
Big old number 65, Gerald Roper, was way downfield, and I think they're going to have an eligible receiver downfield. Or interference, one or the other, because he was blocking Greg Gary at the same time.